This episode is brought to you by Sling TV. Are you ready for the football season to kick off? If you're like me, then you love watching live TV, although sometimes it feels like live TV doesn't love us back, right? Fortunately, you can get the TV you love for a price you'll love thanks to our friends at Sling. Forget about those high prices and their endless contracts. Sling is the most valuable option when it comes to finding your favorite channels for sports, news, and entertainment. They have the best live TV content all in one place. What is NFL Red Zone? What is NFL Red Zone? Like I need to tell you, NFL Red Zone brings the best of the game day action in the NFL. 7 hours of commercial-free football starts this fall. NFL Red Zone is ideal for fans who want to catch all the action, every touchdown, every Sunday. NFL Red Zone is also popular for fantasy football fans who want to watch all the scoring plays. And now you can get Sling and NFL Red Zone before football season begins. It's easy to set up, easy to use, and now you can try it for half off. Watch every touchdown live every Sunday afternoon with NFL Red Zone on Sling. For a limited time, get Sling Blue for half off your first month and add on NFL Red Zone for only $11.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz Podcast.
We're presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today and use code DAN for a special offer when you sign up. That's code DAN, only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
Amin, would you rather go to Alcatraz or Mickey Jail?
I don't know what Mickey Jail is.
Mickey Jail's like Disney World jail.
Oh, Alcatraz for sure.
Me too.
Why?
Me too.
Alcatraz for sure. Why big to Alcatraz or to Mickey Jail? Alcatraz.
You've been to Mickey Jail.
I feel like Alcatraz is, first of all, it's cool.
It's freezing.
I did some time at the Rock, you know, like that's a here's the thing about Mickey Jail.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you already.
It's probably awful, but no one will ever believe you because like it's Disneyland. Like, come on, how hard could it be? But I think that they're putting you to work down there in like slave labor camps. Yeah.
Okay, that went.
Prison labor? Is that the word I was looking for? Sorry.
So in Disney World, everything's underground.
Yes.
Like they built everything up like 2 or 3 stories above the ground. So you have all the tunnels because when they made Disneyland, like Walt Disney got pissed off because he saw like people that were dressed like cowboys walking through like Tomorrowland that's like space themed or whatever. So they built all these tunnels where Walt Disney's head may or may not be.
No,
it's
his whole
down
body,
there.
no?
No,
Was
just
it his
the
whole
head.
body?
Just the head.
Really?
Yeah.
So
How
they
does that-
cryogenically froze just his head.
Yeah, because the
I
rest of the
think so.
body's irrelevant.
But how does that work? So like, do they then reattach that head to like a robot body?
Have you ever watched Futurama?
No.
Okay.
But I know of it.
Yeah, they put the heads in like.
But it could just go on
jars of water.
anything?
Well,
in the future.
on a robot body, probably, right?
You could make it like it could be like a spider robot.
Yeah,
whatever. It could be any
yeah.
kind of robot.
They've done that before in the
Our
movie.
obsession with death makes us do crazy shit.
I mean,
Our obsession?
yeah,
Yeah.
Humans
The
means.
collective society's obsession with death, that we don't want to die. That Walt Disney just decided, I'm going to freeze my head.
Right.
Because maybe in 300 years' time, there'll be a technology where I can be reborn and live forever because my head has been preserved.
I like the idea of Walt Disney being reanimated 300 years from now, and he's like, because he died as like this visionary guy that's a great thinker or whatever, and in 300 years he goes, what if we invented phones without cords? And you're like, Walt, come on, man.
But Billy, you're saying 300 years. That's the first thing I was thinking about right now, which is right now. They bring him out right now. And you tell him like, by the way, this thing right here does everything for you. Like what do you mean? Like,
And also, we'd be so skeptical of him. Think of like how skeptical we are now of Musk. And like Musk just wants to get us from Miami to Orlando in an hour underground, and we're like, what a kook.
No. There's a big difference. There's a big difference. That Musk is full of shit.
What?
Right? Like that's the difference. Like didn't he come out and say like one of those
Those hyper tunnels that he claimed just because he was trying to break some project up.
full of shit. He was just doing it to cockblock something else. That's all. That's the only reason why he came up with it, why he said it. Like he had it was just complete fraudulence, right? Like Walt Disney, for being a very strange man, by the way. Like we don't talk about that enough. Like this dude was certified weirdo, right?
There's a lot of shit from old Disney that is very problematic.
Problematic. He's a problem. But
to it.
he like at least the stuff that he was trying to do, he got done. some of it, right? Same thing with Steve Jobs. Awful human being by all accounts, right? Awful human being. Awful parent, awful boss, awful everything. But visionary, made a lot of shit happen.
Who do you think's the best visionary?
The best?
Yeah, because
good
like
question.
we touched on it with Sure a little bit, right?
Did we?
Well, we touched on the billionaire situation and how like you have to step on a lot of people's necks to become like a billionaire.
Yeah.
So like, who do you think is the best visionary that's like most pure?
Well adjusted? Or
Oh, no.
Oh,
We got-
doesn't have evil intent.
like not a shit person.
Oh, not a shit person.
Well, and also be careful because like they all have great means. So like if
Well,
this gets any of them,
Gates?
Man. Have you ever heard the story of like the start of Microsoft? There was a really, really good made-for-TV movie on TNT like years ago. It's called Pirates of Silicon Valley, and it's about like how Gates and Steve Jobs and Paul Allen and all these guys like got their start. And Bill Gates was ruthless as hell, man. I mean, he was cutthroat as can be, and just wilding on people, crazy, right? It's funny. He was like,
I call him Wild Bill.
yeah, there you go. He was like the visionary, of course, but also unhinged. And Paul Allen was the cool one, and Steve Ballmer was like the fun guy. Like the way you see Steve Ballmer right now, it's exactly who he is. He's always been the same kind of guy. Maybe Steve Ballmer is the answer to that. I don't know if he's a visionary, right? He's a hell of a salesman, though.
Isn't there a famous clip of Steve Ballmer saying the iPhone is wildly overpriced and will never catch on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean there's a lot of stuff. Like
He's half right.
the Zune. Roy was like, and
I still have my Zune.
the Zune was, I believe, a Steve Ballmer.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, like he championed that thing. And you know what the funny thing about the Zune was? The Zune versus the iPod. The Zune had like an AM FM radio on it as well. And they thought, oh, this gives us a leg up on the iPod because it's more functionality. And in reality, it just made them look old and dated because they were reaching back to or not an obsolete, but something that was on the way to obsolescence. And Apple's thing is always move forward. We're going to get rid of the headphone jack on the phone. We're going to make it into the small, like Apple's thing is always like trying to push you. It actually pushes you towards stuff that you wouldn't be ready for if they gave you the option.
Yeah, I remember when they first did away with the button. It was like, but like I like putting my thumb on there and then I get through to the next screen. I like the button. Why did you have to get? I like the double tap, close all my apps, but you adjust to all the new shit that they make you adjust to so quickly, right?
They make you, but
in the interest of sleekness.
No, no. It's in the interest of them saving money. Like, there's no reason why they can't give me the little square that I can plug my iPhone charger into. Now I have to go out and buy one. That's not because they're trying to push me to be better.
No.
They want to sell me the little square that before was free.
I do think that the courts just ruled that there needs to be a universal adapter for all cell phones.
Charging?
Then we got some new computers around here, and I love the USB-C to USB-C connection. And now they brought back the MagSafe thing, which used to, the MacBook.
No.
This is a new Apple, and they have the MagSafe
No,
thing.
get
here.
out of here.
It's USB-C to the MagSafe thing,
No.
and I actually shouted, "Those thieves!"
What's a MagSafe?
It's like
the magnetized.
it's the magnetized, like the little tiny rectangle that goes on the corner.
No, that's whack. That's
How
whack.
about give me my DVD player back on a computer?
Well, I mean, I want to go back to why they got rid of the button. You guys know why they got rid of the button, right?
No.
Because they were trying to emphasize people using Face ID. And as long as the button was there, people were like, I don't need to do that. So when they, get rid of the button, I mean, sure, you can still input your code manually, but the Face ID convenience becomes so much more important. And because of that, they can now collect facial recognition data. But don't worry about it. They said they're not going to do anything evil with it. So let's just take their word for it. Their security is really good.
Their
Well, before
security's
they used to do the fingerprint also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But, they get more out of facial recognition software than they do from a thumbprint. Because you got to think about how many times does your fingerprint factor in on, like, big data, right? Like large amounts of data about things that you do, places you go, whatever. Almost never. But your face, that one, like it's everywhere, right? I told this story before. there's a guy who was like trolling a little bit Jim Dolan on Facebook about his band, like on his band's page, right? Like JD in the Straight Shot, right? And he'd go there and be like, oh, it's good to see you. You got time for this, but you don't have time for the Knicks, or something just very light trolling, right? Persistent, but nothing crossing a line. Goes to a Ranger game. Security approaches him at the seat. Take him down to Mickey jail. And they're like, interrogate him, and like, you've been flagged for harassment online. And he's like, what? And it turns out Madison Square Garden has the Hong Kong style facial recognition cameras. Like, as soon as you walk in the building, they're running your face against the database of like ne'er-do-wells or whatever, and they're comparing and all that. Now, imagine, Billy, if it was just thumbprints.
and they're using that just to see who's cyberbullying James Dolan.
Exactly. I mean, it's still Madison Square Garden. Like,
I heard a wild story regarding facial recognition that was emailed to me. I'm going to keep the names out of it to protect the innocent, but there was a charity event not too long ago that was based out of a casino. One of the players that was playing in this charity event found a $5,000 poker chip in the elevator. And because he was having such a great time, he decided to gift that $5,000 chip over to the company that was running the entire thing.
Got it.
So he handed it to the wife of the CEO, and the wife of the CEO goes to cash the chip.
Yep.
Problem. They come back and say, according to our cameras, you haven't been playing poker. How do you have this poker chip?
Right.
And there have been all these reported missing chips out there. And so that wife had to sit down there during an interrogation as they vetted the story on how she got the $5,000 chip. So wash your chips at the poker table, guys, if you ever find a $5,000 poker chip. And don't do the good Samaritan thing, which is just return it.
Let me ask you a question. Let's say that happened to you. Where'd you get this chip? Do you say, so-and-so gave it to me? Or do you say, it was gifted to me? Like, do you reveal basically who gave it to you?
No, they brought in the person that gifted it. Like, they had to check out their entire story.
That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking you, Mike Ryan. You've just been pulled into the room. Someone handed you this chip, and you're like, oh, this is awesome. Whatever, let me go cash it in. They said, where'd you get this chip from?
You just smack the tables and go, I'm gambling again?
Yeah. Well, according to our videos, you don't do any winning. Yeah. So how'd you come? Like I'd start singing like a canary very quickly.
Really?
But I didn't know that it was that thorough. Like, if someone just shows up, a $5,000 chip isn't that much in the scope of what goes through those cashier windows. For them to actually back it up and check the facial recognition software to be like, this person's never sat
played,
at a poker table. This doesn't check out. And to happen instantaneously like that, it gives you something to think about. By the way, the Apple charger thing was a European Union. The courts ruled that there needs to be a universal charging port for all cell phones. The EU is way ahead on all this stuff.
Europe can off with telling us about universal charging things, okay? I'm sorry.
No, you're playing both sides. They're doing this for you.
No, they're not. No, because when I go to Europe, I need a different charger as well. Get me the 3 little plug thing that we have here, and I'll be perfectly happy. Thank you very much.
The different electrical outlets by country, I'm completely with you, Billy. I don't understand why that's a thing.
Just dick measuring.
Why couldn't we agree on an outlet? Why couldn't we agree on an outlet?
Yeah, and if you plug in a hair dryer, it explodes. It's so
weird. Yeah, remember when we were going to record an interview and my mixer exploded because the power brick? Yeah, we were going to record an interview at Chelsea, and I brought a mixer with me.
It was
and
a
I plugged it in.
Interview. Yeah, it was the biggest interview to
we were going to interview Christian Pulisic, and my mixer exploded because of the power conversion. And like the room
wasn't dual voltage.
Yeah, the room started filling with smoke, and I had to clear the smoke. And thankfully, I had a backup improvised solution. But yeah, Mike and I shared a microphone for that interview.
We shared a proper shit in that moment, but we figured it out.
Yeah.
This is sour grapes because of the Revolutionary War, right? Like, it has to be. It has to be like, we will not conform and do what it is that they're doing over there. We will show them that we're better. And they will come back. They will come begging back to us to be part of Great Britain again because our outlets are superior to those that they have in America.
It's covered in Hamilton.
the outlets.
Kept telling us we'll be back. Cut 2. I will. I mean, we were all considering it over the last few years, were we not?
Eh.
No,
not there.
I mean, they have.
Not
we
like-
have peri sauce too.
Yeah. And by the way, like I just want to throw out there for those of you who don't know, like England has its own. Like, look, the racism this country has, they learned it from somewhere. They learned it from watching you, Dad. Like, let's be real. Like, they've got their own wild ass neo conservatives over there.
Oh yeah, and it's a lot slower to trickle in than it has been over here. Like in part, our growing pains over the last few years have been so dramatic and played out in our streets because I think it's also happening at a more rapid pace over here. So now the people that are on the wrong side of history are fighting like hell because it's like being, as they see it, ripped away from them in record time. Whereas the power dynamics in Europe allow for a slower burn. As a inch towards progress.
They actually have multiple political parties there. Happy Election Day, everybody.
Yeah. You guys vote?
I did.
Yep.
Nice.
I did. During Because Miami episode, I had Billy Corbin kind of influence my ballot, and it was revealed to everybody that I'm still registered Republican.
Yeah.
But I have a whole plan about that, though.
So I have a
Yeah.
Roy, listen to
I'm
this.
gonna fight him from the inside.
I had a buddy. He doesn't do this anymore, but he was working in the state of Arizona, like in politics on the Republican side, right? And this dude, if you knew him, raging, like he's like a heartbeat away from being a communist. Like he is super duper socialist. But everyone assumed because he's a tall white guy that he's down for the cause. So he just kept, like pretending. So then he started like suggesting policy that like any normal rational person would look at as like, wow, that's a very social policy. But he would frame it as like, this will get the liberals upset. This stuff is, they
Is
won't.
your friend Ron DeSantis?
No, but like, it's funny.
No, he's tall.
So he kept doing this and he kept like progressing. And I said to him, buddy, like in a couple of years, you're going to be like the Manchurian candidate. You can like run for like Congress or maybe even Senate, and everyone will just be like, yeah, he's our guy. He sticks up for us. And meanwhile, he's just eroding the foundations of the Republican Party from the inside. And do you know what happened? It's the silliest thing ever.
Heart attack.
No, not quite as silly as that, Billy.
That's too silly.
No, it's too silly. The Democrats won, and so technically his position was a nonpartisan position, so he kept his job, and so they won, and he's like, oh, thank God you guys are here, like, I've been pretending this whole time, da-da-da, and he got fired. I said, you gave it away, you could have kept going, you could have kept running with this forever. And instead, no. And now he's out of politics, but he's a lot happier. So Mike, it could be you.
Don't give away the game.
Yeah.
That is the game. I
So-
feel like there's
so-
a party within a party right now.
So you're like, you want to vote in Republican primaries to see like maybe you can like. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it does give me
Florida Republican primary that is going to result in your favor. Like I'm not sure.
No.
Like when does that go in? Even like a state primary for president. First off, by the time they get to Florida, it's kind of already baked in, which is kind of stupid, right? It's kind of stupid.
Our whole election process.
Right, exactly. A brief political comment.
No.
It is really stupid. Like, first off, how many states don't matter in national presidential elections? They just straight up don't matter. It's like the election is decided in 7 states, and the rest of you are just kind of having a nice time.
Yeah.
And then, like, in the primary process, if you don't go early, then your vote doesn't matter at all. Why? That's stupid.
So I saw this in Alaska. In Alaska, they're doing how they do it in Australia, which is you don't just pick. It's like an MVP vote. You give your second, third, fourth, and fifth choice.
Ranked choice voting. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it happened in South America quite recently, and it resulted in a communist president because everyone was splitting votes, and then the one that was an outlier compared to everybody else, the communist,
Right.
just rose up because everybody was eating at the same trough of votes.
Wow. Dan, I didn't know you were here.
Eating at the Trump.
Yeah.
You're a writer.
I want to say this, and I don't want anyone to get upset. We need to normalize the idea that if you're gonna have a democratic election and your choice doesn't end up winning, tough shit. As long as they don't subvert democracy afterward.
Yeah. It didn't seem like too long ago where that was the case here.
No, I mean,
We'd all laugh at the same SNL jokes and just keep moving on.
Right.
It wasn't all kumbaya. I mean, you would still have awkward family dinners, but it wasn't this.
Sure, like,
Where it's just like, you lost. No, I didn't.
But it's I'm gonna give you because this happens a lot in the Middle East, right? Where there's a dictator and then they overthrow the dictator, and now we have an election, and I did an election, and then it's like, oh, like the Muslim Brotherhood won the election. Like, tough shit. Like, that's what you wanted for the region, right? You wanted democracy. You want people to pick. They're not always gonna pick your guy. But yeah, it's funny that we're in that situation now where it's like, now we're the ones who are like, we don't like that guy.
Billy,
We still have superior outlets, though.
We do. Electric outlets.
Yeah, power outlets.
Yeah.
Billy, you were telling us before the show you were swayed politically by a great campaign here in South Florida.
Oh, yeah. I was driving by the library on Coral Way over the weekend.
Coral.
Yeah. And they had, I don't know what this person is running for, but the candidate had like 50 people supporting her, and she had like these big, like almost like car wash things with her face on them, right? Like these giant flags with her face on it, and then like name and then like number on the pole. And they were just blasting music, and there was like a party of like 80 people dancing, and I was like,
What was the song?
I don't remember
Was
what
it like
it was.
Born in the USA?
No.
Oh, please, no.
You do not understand
It's the
Westchester.
library on Coral Way.
Yeah, no, the library on Coral Way is in the heart of Westchester. This was like reggaeton was like blasting or something like bachata, right? And I was like, you know what? I'm voting for this person. I don't know what it is. I'm voting for this person.
Do you remember their name?
No, I have no idea.
Oh,
but
God.
when I
How
go
are you going to vote for them?
Well, 'cause
Very,
when I
very
go
dangerous
to
game.
when I go to vote the same. I mean, it's a local like primary. What?
See, that's how it starts.
That's how it starts.
Okay.
That's why I consulted Billy Corbin. I'm like,
Well, I'm not going to be doing that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's too bad.
Yo, does that stuff work though? Not what Billy just said, but like those placards that are on the side of the road. That's just like vote so and so.
yeah, there's this candidate that only advertises at gas stations.
Yeah.
Yeah, only advertises.
I'll
at
drop the
and he's-
gas.
and he's in full uniform and yeah, Bloomstein, I think. Yeah. Just why gas stations? His entire marketing campaign is just, hey, I'm here at the gas stations. Gas stations expensive, right? Well, vote for me. It won't be as expensive. And he's just a judge.
Wait, what's he running for?
Nothing
Like,
can be done about that.
Nothing can be
Gas
done, but
czar?
it's all about visibility and just like
Name ID.
no one longs for change more recently than when they're at the gas pump. So if they see someone that represents change in full uniform,
but isn't that
subliminally, I thought it was a brilliant marketing stroke.
So, Amin, you live in Arizona.
I do.
Right? Are you familiar with Dixon Butts?
Now I have to answer this question very carefully.
DIXONBUTTS.
Oh.
Dixon Butts.
Oh, wait, Denzel GIF. No, I'm not.
So Dixon Butts is this guy in Gilbert, Arizona that has just put up a bunch of signs. Go to DixonButts.com, DIXONBUTTS.com.
I'm on it.
Make sure you spell it correctly.
And he's this guy, and it just is a bunch of political signs that he's put up all around Arizona, and it just says not running for anything, just wanted to make a sign. DixonButts.com.
He's going to be a write-in candidate, probably.
He for sure is going to be getting votes.
This guy's from Gilbert, Arizona. I know where Gilbert is.
Yeah, his campaign slogan for a campaign that's not an actual campaign is "America needs Dixon Butts."
Is it Dixon or Dixon?
The slogan is exactly what Billy suggested. America needs Dixon Butts. Not run for anything. Just wanted to make a sign. Crazy. It's also the same web designer that did our buddy Onion, Connor Onion.
Yo, did you guys see that? Connor Onion engaged with us on Twitter.
I mean, I would hope so.
No, it
This
was
is a very big show.
No, but it was well, there's a couple of things going on. Number one, he could have very easily have taken offense to Mike calling him insecure and all that stuff. Instead, like, he went with the joke. He loved it. He was like, I'm leaning towards onion, and so I really liked that he didn't take himself seriously. He went along with the joke. But then the other thing I realized was, even though this guy is doing sideline for ESPN and like his career is going great, it's like I saw like all of these program directors of radio stations and other stuff that I guess have a prior existing relationship with them, and they were like, "Oh man, you made it to the big time." I'm like, "That's right, we're the big time." You get called out on this show, ladies and gentlemen, that means you're somebody. You get a shout
with high level production.
Yes, you get a shout out on the Le Batard Show, and guess what? Your life changes.
This episode is brought to you by HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking fun, easy, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Have a packed schedule this fall? HelloFresh has meals covered with a weekly selection of 30-plus recipes and 70-plus convenience items, all delivered to your door. Take the stress out of mealtime with time-saving, no-fuss recipes ready in a snap. You can easily customize your meals with Hello Custom by swapping proteins or sides, upgrading to choice proteins, or even adding protein to a veggie meal. It's never been easier to eat your way, and I'm telling you, my wife and I use HelloFresh multiple times a week. It is the most efficient way. The cleanup is easy. The prep, I'm telling you, don't underestimate getting the perfect amount. There's no leftover. Things don't go bad with HelloFresh because every item that they send you, you use for every meal. So there's no leftover stuff. There's no ingredients just left in your fridge for weeks because you're using every ingredient they give you every single time. It is such a game changer. Go to HelloFresh.com/DLB16 and use the code DLB16 for 16 free meals across 7 boxes and 3 free gifts. That's code DLB16 for HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit.
Do you want to feel closer to your partner? With Trojan Bearskin Raw condoms, you can get a closer, more natural experience while still providing the Trojan protection you can trust. Trojan Bearskin Raw is America's thinnest latex condom, made from premium quality latex to help reduce the risk of pregnancy and STIs. You can still get that natural, more intimate experience you and your partner are looking for, all with the peace of mind backed by triple-tested Trojan quality. Trojan Bearskin Raw is available at major retailers nationwide. So buy a pack today to experience raw. Trojan Bearskin Raw, as raw as it gets.
Dan Le Batard.
Are you back on the caffeine? Are you back on the Red Bull?
Something's wrong.
We are. Something's wrong.
I mean, it's unbelievable how manic he is, and he sort of just he keeps chewing on his bottom teeth in a way that's scaring me a little bit.
Stugats.
I've been up since 5:30 a.m. producing content, and in terms of being able to be on, my body needs a little boost. And that's why I turned to
cocaine.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats.
I have a transition.
Okay.
I realized this morning that I am not at all ready for the football season. I haven't yet begun preparation for my fantasy
ready.
Watch
draft.
Hard Knocks. You'll be fine.
I heard your conversation about it yesterday. I might have to binge the first 2, but I realized that preseason is such a bastardization of football now that it does not allow me to really ramp up to the season. I don't have any clue of what most teams are going to be doing. For instance, like the Dolphins are going to be running a new offense, and I know that they ran some of it against the Raiders on Saturday, but I don't actually feel like I have a grasp as to what the Dolphins are ramping up to. Like I read about how Mike Gesicki is transitioning. Basically, he even said it himself, from being a receiver to being a tight end, and that could be a real drastic change for him. But like, is this atypical to most NFL preseasons where I just feel like most people are analyzing off of last year's evidence and we don't actually have new information on football?
I have a quick question. Can you walk us through your day off if it entails listening to 5 hours of us? Because it feels like that's not really a day off.
I was on a plane, so it was a long travel day, walking through terminals, all that. Got to know what's going on the show when I come back. I feel bad if like I come really, we were talking about this yesterday.
You'll get over that.
I'm in on the joke. I know what's going on.
I don't even know who Connor Onion is, and I was here yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, Billy, I pay attention. I like to know what's going on. I also like you guys.
Oh, that's heartwarming. Connor Onion is the one who's going to do a broadcast with Jessica's uncle Art Sour Cream.
I don't get that either.
No?
It was Fred.
It was Fred?
That was Fred Sour Cream. Yeah.
Oh, his brother is.
Wasn't there a Jimmy Hot Dogs a couple weeks ago?
Jimmy Hot Dogs.
But Billy, to answer your question, I was also watching a bit of Blackbird as well. I'm almost done with Blackbird.
Is that the thing about SeaWorld?
No, that's Blackfish.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Blackfish.
Yeah. Also,
not the ocean.
Is that the one? I thought that was the one with Anthony Anderson.
Also,
That's
Blackish.
I also marvel at how much time Woody has to do all this stuff, and then I realize, he's a single man.
Natalie Portman.
He doesn't have a kid, doesn't have a wife.
Black Swan. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah.
What was your actual question about the NFL?
How are you
was a
getting
question?
ready for the football season? I have no idea what's going.
Oh.
I'm a Dolphins fan, and I have no idea what they're going to look like
The
week one.
Gesicki thing, I think, is very interesting because people are breaking down the snap counts in the preseason, which is how can you glean anything from snap counts in the preseason?
Well, preseason is a really good indicator of how people plan to use certain people, right? Like there's people like Traylon Burks.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
Tyreek Hill hasn't played a snap, has he?
That's fine, but you're
wanna
talking about the
hide the
highest
stuff.
paid. You're talking about the highest paid wide receiver in
Conventionally speaking,
the league.
you are right, but not in today's NFL. Something happened 3 years ago where you're not showing any cards. You're not showing any personnel, really.
The first two series of the game are the only ones that matter in terms of like what the teams
Not
look like.
even-
Everything
Not
else
even that, but Mike's
Not
right.
even.
But think about if it's 4th and short and you want to go for it.
Oh,
You're not going to show a play that you want to use in the right. You're going to show a play. You're just going to run it up the middle.
No, it's not even. I don't want to go through the 4th and short because there's bodies colliding. I just want to stay healthy to get to the season. So you're not playing these guys at all. But the Gesicki stuff is interesting because he has been playing some, and he's actually been a backup if you look at the snap counts. And the whole thing, we wanted to press Mike McDaniel on this a little bit more. I wanted to ask him a pointed and direct question is, Gesicki is a wide receiver. He argued he's a wide receiver. He cannot block. You have to block in that offense. Look at George Kittle. He is one of the best blockers at the position in modern times. Mike McDaniel is going to want to replicate that. Do you have the personnel to do that here in Miami? Not with your starting, air quotes, tight end. I actually was kicking around over the weekend. Miami would be wise, especially considering the fines that were levied for the tampering stuff and the capital they gave up for Tyreek Hill. Might be worth seeing what you can get for Gesicki.
Which would feel really harsh because he's been a Pro Bowl level player. He's been a draft pick that has worked. He's currently on a franchise tag. I wonder, that's probably not great trade value. You're on a 1-year franchise
But
tag.
if you could flip him for someone that fits the system.
That's rare. Like player for player trades in the NFL, like you just go to another team. Hell, can I take a tight end that's more kind of block
heavy tight
Yeah.
end?
I was just saying replenish the capital because they have Smythe, who's been playing well, who can get
But
after.
Durham Smythe is going to be your starting tight end because he can block, right? Like that's where we are.
Right. You look at the history of the Shanahan offense, and the tight ends had put up massive numbers just because they were out there. It's kind of sneaky. Everyone looks at the running backs, and it's like everyone goes to Orlandis Gary and Mike Anderson,
Ruben
and so
Drones,
Alfred Morris, and so
Ruben
on and
Drones,
so forth. But if you look at the tight ends that have had success in that offense too, guys that were top 10 in fantasy points by the names of Owen Daniels, that you would stream all the time. Tight ends have success in that by the nature of their position on the field.
I feel like you're more confident in the Dolphins' schematic advantage over the rest of the league than even I am. I'm not buying on it in quite this way. I know that McDaniel is well
He
thought
felt
of.
his aura in person.
No. He Mike is
it's
just
a
you're just a big Shanahan guy.
Yeah, it's
The
a Mike
system
Shanahan
works.
thing.
The
It's a
system
Mike
works.
Shanahan, Gary Kubiak thing. It's moving the pocket. It's rolling out. The system has worked for 30 years in the NFL, and no one's really caught on to it. It's still working. Jimmy Garoppolo almost made it to a Super Bowl. He should have. They dropped an interception. He should have made it to the Super Bowl. I think it's a cheat code in the NFL. I think it's a schematic advantage, and I think it's shown, especially with Kyle and Mike McDaniel, that it can go from place to place. Places that weren't great jobs because they got there to them. They were open for a reason, and they got immediate results with the personnel that they had. Doesn't matter. They come in, they instill their ways, they find the personnel that fits it. They don't really they don't really veer away from it either. It's the system is the system.
I think the interesting thing to note, though, is we talk about preseason snaps and like if it's an indicator for regular season, schematic advantages, is they have Gesicki who lined up out wide a disproportionate amount from any tight end in the NFL because they used him as a pseudo third wide receiver or second wide receiver when Devontae Parker and these guys were hurt. But the fact that he's playing in line now and being asked to block at such a higher rate in the preseason is telling me like that's what they want him to be. And you're going to have that and do what with him?
Yeah, and they're not a team that like is going to run a ton of 3 and 4 wide receiver. When they do, I imagine you can line them up out there. But they're like, correct me if I'm wrong, they're more of like a 2 tight ends kind of coaching staff, and they try and make players. The only thing that scares me about this is, I do trust Mike McDaniel for the moment, and obviously, like you said, his offense works. However, system turnover has resulted in the Dolphins losing great talents before. You think of, for example, Minka Fitzpatrick being traded, and they got a good haul for him, but I think that haul turned into like Austin Jackson's been a pretty bad offensive lineman for the Dolphins. Like they lost an all-pro caliber player because he didn't fit with Brian Flores' system, and to lose a good draft pick and a homegrown player in Mike Gesicki because he doesn't fit a system like that immediately sends off red flags for me.
I'd be stunned if we see Gesicki out wide the way that we saw him last year. The whole idea behind this offense is to get your players out in space. Have whoever's guarding the tight end come back to the line so you can have that player in space. We never saw George Kittle really line up wide. Yeah, they did a couple of gadget things and keep the defense honest. But anytime you've seen that offense really take a different shape, it's because the quarterback is a little bit more athletic and they can do a little bit more of the RPO stuff. Matt Ryan wasn't really going to convince you that he was going to be a running threat, but it can work with a passer. It's kind of like Chip Kelly's offense could work with a pure passer too. He would argue that it worked even better with a pure passer. It's just with Tua, it's going to be more pass reliant, and it's going to really accentuate the speed that you have on the outside. And I don't think you want Gesicki on the outside. You want the fast guys on the outside.
The team build is interesting to me, too, because it's almost like they built their team, and then we're like, oh, Mike McDaniel, come and fix it, right? You have all these wide receivers getting money, and then you have a franchise tag on a tight end that's kind of a wide receiver, and then you've got running backs everywhere that you paid, and now you have Sony Michel, and you have Chase Edmonds, you have Raheem Mostert. It's like, what are these hodgepodge of players going to actually do? Because if you're saying you're running 12 personnel all the time, then why do you have Cedric Wilson? Why do you have all these guys to just kind of sit here and do nothing?
I love the dropping of 12 personnel. I almost said 22 personnel earlier, but I don't want to sound like a boob. I guess we had a conversation for 6 minutes about what the Dolphins are going to do, and preseason offers us very few answers. My question is the NFL now just a sport where you just show up to week 1 and are kind of pleasantly surprised by what goes on? Because I think even experts, like I listen to a lot of experts, and they're like, oh, I was watching this person's tape last year, and I'm like going back and watching games from the year before, and I just think it's a completely different context year over year. Like it's tough to apply things that happened last year to this year. It's almost like you kind of show up blind. You're like, all right, let's see how the Dolphins look this year. They're a completely new look team.
I'm learning nothing from watching the games. The only way that I'm learning in advance of fantasy drafts and just to get a general betting advantage is by reading beat writers that are at practice. And even then, they don't show the goods to the writers. They kick them off at a certain time, but they talk to the players, they talk to the coaches, and they find out which players are making an impact, which players are flashing. And that, you're getting way more from training camp than you could ever get from watching these exhibitions.
At some point, we're going to do away with preseason, right?
No.
Or does it just serve too vital a function to teams?
Yeah, like one, they use it to figure out who's going to make the 53-man roster. So it's players that we don't give a shit about, but they do, right?
It's such a dreadful entertainment product, though.
But two, it's kind of crazy. It's part of the when they sell your season ticket package.
It's part of the package.
Part of the package.
It's bullshit.
I actually like it as like it's a build up to week 1. It's like, yeah, I'm watching this Dolphins game, not emotionally invested. Get to see the uniforms out there. It's like you can talk to friends. You're at a friend's house. Like I like on a game not really mattering. It's like once the game start week 1, I'm gonna be freaking out over every possession. So this is nice.
Are you freaking out on every possession?
A Dolphins game? I mean, I'm not maybe not freaking out.
Are you even watching every possession? Because like I'm mainly locked in a red zone.
Dolphins games, I keep on Dolphins
double
games.
Screen. Yeah.
I mean, if it gets bad, if they're losing, I'll go to red zone.
You don't watch red zone just as a entertainment product, like to watch your team.
What's on TV1? What's on TV?
I only have one TV.
I was about to say.
Yeah, but you probably have like an iPad.
What I do is I'll flip over to Red Zone when a commercial comes, and I will admit sometimes I will get lost in Red Zone. I'll be like, oh shit, I forgot, and I got to go back to the Dolphins game. But that's about the extent of it.
How many people in the room have a Mike Ryan, Jack Palance setup in their house, where it's like a bank of TVs?
I've only got the second. I have a second TV. By the way,
I got a second too. Yeah.
Yeah,
But you don't need
not a
that
bank,
anymore.
I only have one TV.
What do you mean?
I'd say a branch.
You don't need to have multiple TVs. You
course
could just
you do.
have, no, you don't.
Like your
Well, if
You
you
just have
if
an
you care,
iPad, a
you need
laptop, a
multiple
phone,
screens.
and then
No, the iPad's too small. I need to see what's going on.
What do you mean it's too small?
It's too small.
I can. There's actually a spot.
No, it's in your head.
No, it's not in my head.
It's not
It's
too small.
100% in your head.
It's not too
It's too
If you're
small.
holding
Zombie.
if you're holding an iPad here, right, like close to your face.
Yeah, but why would I be watching it here, but also watching
whatever,
it up there?
within
You're probably
reading
seeing
distance.
it better, to Billy's point.
100%.
Than like your TV
Because
that's
I need to have it a little bit of
You could
distance
have
away.
a 55-inch TV that's
I do.
20
It's small.
feet away,
Right.
and your iPad's screen is larger because it's
But I have
closer
another
to
TV
you.
that's smaller that I can actually watch. It's a little bit closer. That's
Did this
not
with video
super
games.
close.
My friend
What
told
does
me to
that
get a
even-
gaming monitor, and I hate it.
What's a gaming monitor?
Gaming monitor is a monitor that has this refresh rate that it doesn't even have speakers on the damn thing.
Yeah.
I hate it. It's so tiny. Can't see anything.
So what's the purpose?
The graphics look better. I don't give a shit. Like I play video games maybe twice a year during one of my daughter's naps. Like I need, I want to see what I'm playing. I can't do it with the small screens. Really can't.
What do you have like what, like the school, like elementary school, like cart that you move a TV around on? Like,
How'd you know?
well, you say you have this little screen that's
I have like
Oh,
a 30.
stand
I have like
and
a 32-inch screen.
Where is that?
20th
It's in my.
century.
It's my studio.
But you move it.
Yeah, I just unplug it from the wall and then I put it on top of the TV mount,
Wait,
and then
what?
I've got two of them.
Wait, you're serious?
Yeah.
I thought you were just going along with the bit.
You're moving TVs around.
Yeah, it's a 32-inch TV, guys. It's like this big. It's 32
Yeah.
inches. It's
But
not
when
that
you
big.
sit it down like on a table around you.
Okay, so picture
love
this.
it.
I've got a TV
Do you have
mounted
a
on the
picture?
wall.
Yeah.
Okay, then I've got a TV like desk, like to put stuff in, right? And then I put that other TV on top of that little desk. So I've got two within like a foot of each other. You get me?
They're
does
not
the
blocking each other.
Where does the TV go when it's done?
Yeah, why don't you leave?
Back into the studio
Why don't you always leave it there?
because my wife doesn't like it. She only allows me for Red Zone.
By the way, this
on
is a
Sundays.
perfect opportunity for the antenna, guys. I know it's not. Oh, I got to get a second cable box.
What?
You just you hit the second TV with the antenna, and you can put either the CBS or the Fox game.
I
on.
do that. Yeah.
Roku allows you to stream local channels now.
I know.
Really?
I know, but like, there's a lag. There's a delay.
There's always a delay.
cares?
Oh,
There's
look.
always a delay.
But delay, like what? Who are you keeping up with?
I like to be as live as
He needs
possible.
a pure.
You know why? Because if you start streaming shit, then you flick on your Twitter and you get spoiled and it's no fun. And you like for example, I was watching a Premier League game this weekend, only available on Peacock, and I get the notification that a goal is coming like 30 seconds
Oh,
before,
man.
and it's like, well, just don't follow. Like, what's
Yes,
the point?
I don't look at social media when I'm watching sporting events that I care about. Like that's what I've learned. It's so freeing. Yeah, because this is what I've learned. I'll watch a game. I'm like, this is a pretty good game. I'm like, let me see what they're talking about on Twitter. Oh my God, the refs are so bad. Like I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice.
Oh
the
no, I'm
calls.
totally with you. That is my favorite part of watching sporting events without Twitter. Is like, oh, I have like different opinions
Yes.
to the common consensus on social media. Like I've completely experienced this game different than anybody else.
I sneaky like the notification or the Twitter when you see it and it's saying something that's already going to happen. So you're like, oh, it's a touchdown for DJ Moore, and I'm sitting there waiting. I'm like, oh yes,
That's my favorite.
Let me watch this develop.
My favorite is when you're watching with somebody and you get to sound like a source. I think they're going to hit DJ Moore on the deep post here. And it's the Scott Hansen. Let's go live to Carolina.
And you're like, oh please.
like whenever you go to the Red Zone channel and they're in punt formation,
Oh, I love it.
Something is about
Yes.
to happen.
Yeah.
Either
Because they
someone
would
gets
not-
blocked or
return for a touchdown or something crazy.
This
is
just
about to
happened in
happen.
Arizona.
they need
and you're
to
like,
work in a
what?
few fair catches just to throw us off. I'm not even
Great
kidding.
shout. That's a great
like
shout.
twice a week.
Yeah.
Let's go out to Arizona, and then they're punting. You're like, oh shit, and the guy's just like,
You wanted to do
or
it already,
like a
Lynn?
5-yard return. Like a simple fall down, they go to commercial. That's a great shout because it's almost like whenever they go to like 1st and 10 from the Giants 8-yard line and they have 92 yards, like, all right, a pick six is coming because they wouldn't transition to this unless something was about to happen.